get into game number 2. Looks like we swapped over, and I mean, sorry, game number 3, and we are we are in yeah, game number 3. Sorry, I'm reading their banter right now. So looks like Moosegill took a small pause at the very beginning of the game. He had a little bit of a bug, but here they go. In terms of Widowmine's, Hale does mention that the friendly fire is pretty strong too, and that's one of the things you can't forget about. Even though Widowmines are strong, the friendly fire does get increased as well. So just things to consider. Down at the bottom right side of the map, representing Terran, it is Hale. He's not even representing anybody but Terran, man. The hopes and dreams of us, man. Watch, just because of today's patch, we're gonna have 6 Terrans qualify in this qualifier. I'm gonna laugh my head off so hard after this. All right, over at the top left side of the map, representing Complexity, the baller nerd himself, he is coLMoosegills. All right, now coLMoosegills is gonna be opening up hatch first. I mean, sorry, not hatch first, pool first. Very interesting that he's doing it on this map. Both players are going into some pretty heavy banter, man. I don't know if it's one or the other trying to bait each other, or just because they're so friendly. Really depends. Scoop. There we go. So yeah, looking at that last game, coLMoosegills again played a pretty damn good game up until the point where he started losing some of the hatcheries. And remember what I said at the very kind of beginning of the mid game. The map is very large in terms of airspace, so drops are very potent. So you just watch and saw, like, once the drops started happening, he started losing his 4th, his 5th hatchery, the 6th hatchery, here and there, little by little. That drop on the main knocked out a good portion of drones, as well as also a production spot as well for him. And you know, you just gotta either try to end the game a little bit sooner, or, you know, maybe kind of come over at a little bit of a different aspect, like something like an idea like that. Again, in-game emotion and in-game reactionary, and like being part of the moment is a lot different than sitting here at the broadcasting desk, as I would call, yeah, my my broadcasting L-shaped table. Yeah, we'll get Artosis here in a moment, guys, for some analysis, but like maybe if you went for infestors a little bit sooner, you know, something like that, instead of investing into mutas and so heavy into ultras right away, invest into infestors maybe a little bit sooner, get fungals out. If you could fungal more of the forces rather than allowing them to micro out of the way, you could land better shots, you could get a little bit more surface area with the ultras on the bioforces and get better trades as well. At the same time, there was a couple times I missed where the mutaflocks just kept changing in numbers. I look 1 minute, there's 20 plus, next thing I know there's about 8 heading home, and I'm like, man, what the hell happened? I look at the Widowmines, they didn't detonate, so I don't know if they fought versus Marines, ran into too many turrets. A little bit of a mystery, which I'll have to look probably back over a replay, but just some of those things, man. Some of those things. Discord saying cast ops while focusing on mouse, feel free to message, whatever. We'll do. Even if you do the Gold League stuff. Are you making fun of the Collegian Star League, man? Is that a shot at the Collegian Star League? I don't think the last time I broadcasted anything like lower than Diamond, it had to be like a year and a half ago, 2 years, something like that, 2 years ago. I remember I did a thing when I was first starting off broadcasting. I did this thing called the EAC, and that was for more of like the amateur it was a very amateur tournament over in Europe, which is kind of it was kind of fun. It was fun. It was like a little bit of a mini community. Just it was more of a got to know that more of these like little lower level player guys a little bit more personal. But yeah, no, it's been a long time, man, since I've done anything like that. I've been straight just like Alsys, DreamHack, Qualifiers. Like, CSL might be the only thing that's like lower player because there's so many amateurs, but even there we don't even have like really any more like there's not really many platter golds. It's usually majority diamond and masters, and then of course you get your occasional coLMoosegills, Hendrilisk, Suppy, like those guys. So pretty high, still pretty high level play for North America at least. Alright, so the Reaper, the Reaper Hellion pressure does continue. Third base is about finished up for coLMoosegills. Third command center, I think the orbital is done, and indeed it is. He's just utilizing for now to saturate. Reactor finishing up right now. Whoop, floating over the barracks right now. So, you know, this is about as standard of a Terran player that you could see. But like you don't get any more standard than this. So now what I'm interested to see, does he go a little bit more like Poldes? Does he drop a couple more additional barracks and go like 5 to 6 barracks? Does he add 2 factories and go for a little bit heavier Widow Mine? Because that's interesting too as well. I want to see how soon the focus on Widow Mines is going to be for a lot of these Terran players. Now, Roaches are heading across the map. He's got 7 workers, 10, 11 workers in production, but he's got also 2 Roaches from the backside over here. He's continuing pressing on in. There's some Marines already on high ground. There's still no third base right now, and that's one of those things I feel like he should try to check out with his Roaches if he possibly can. coLMoosegills, though, going to be heading over here and going to start hacking away at the rocks. Always a good true test to see if your opponent has tanks when you do something like this. And is coLMoosegills going to play Roach Hydra? He is, man. Oh, dude, it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. Roach Hydra is kind of fun to watch, but I feel like it's a very risky style. Once Terrans start building tanks, it's almost over, or what it feels to be almost over. But here comes an influx of Roaches. Roaches are going to force the SCVs to get pulled off. Starting to lose some SCVs. Not too bad though, because again he does have 3 command centers, and you can utilize them to build SCVs and as well as drop the orbitals. But he is losing a lot of mining time. Having those workers off of that line has to put him back on. Meanwhile over here, Queen's continuing the creep spread. Good amount of creep tumors, so this should spread across the map very nicely. Hopefully we'll be seeing that 4th hatchery coming out of coLMoosegills here very shortly. He's already got Hydras underway. He's got +2/+2 missiles, that is. +1 range on those Hydras, and should probably get speed after that as well. Now, very important when you're playing Roach Hydra, you really do want to make sure that you have Infestors, because one of the best ways to really just wipe your opponent down is to actually get Roach Hydra with Infestors. But if you don't go the Infestor route directly, you might want to consider getting Vipers, because Blinding Cloud at that point is going to be your next best option. Typically when a Terran player, like I said, sees the Roach Hydra play, you want to start producing tanks. Tanks do a massive amounts of damage and just blow up Roaches and Hydras right in their face. But with Blinding Clouds, those tanks become pretty useless units, and leaves you just to work with the bioforces that you have. So we'll see which way he decides to go with it. Infestation Pit underway, so after the Infestation Pit we'll hopefully see the Hive. And again, right now, coLMoosegills has a pretty good spot on things. Knows that there's no third base here, and knows that there's no third base here. The one thing he actually doesn't know about is this third base over here. He just saw the sensor tower go up, so hopefully it draws a unit over. Or draws 1 unit over, just to spot and check. Beautiful creep spread right now coming out from coLMoosegills, covering the whole entire area, the middle area of the map, and spreading it in all directions as well. 4th hatchery underway. 1 Marine going to be heading down to this other 4th location, if you want to call it that. Forces are beginning to move out a little bit ahead. 3 tanks in production, and finally we have that orbital command flying over here. This is very late. For a bio tank force, this is a very late third base. It kind of scares me a little bit. But good job clearing out some of the creep right there. We'll cut out a little bit of vision. A lot of Hydras, a lot of Roaches. That's actually, I think, too much for this whole entire army to handle right now. I don't know if even bunkers could save him right here. Drops a scan. Walks by with some of these units, spots that there is nothing there over here, so no third base. Has to think about probably over here to the right side. And now we got Roaches and Hydras poking away. They will break the bunker. This will force a lot more of these units coming up over here. Tanks are not sieged up. Here comes the forces. It's gonna fight. Tank shots are beginning to drop. Some of these units are pretty clumped up. He's bringing the SCVs off of the line. Starting to lose the Hydras. The Roaches are trapped a little bit in the back, but he's clearing out a good amount of these forces overall. All of the SCVs at the third base are down. 41 workers to 67. Hydras do manage to live. They're breaking through little by little, trying to spread himself out to make sure he can get the tanks down. Tanks all fall. +2/+2 does finish up. GG is called from Hale, and coLMoosegills moves on. coLMoosegills. He doesn't. Roaching it happen. Oh, yeah, that doesn't rhyme.